Hi y'all, this is Pam at Pink Dragonfly Wings, and we are just rolling right along here. Today I want to share with you how I made a junk journal cover out of a placemat. So I bought these little placemats at the thrift store, and they're kind of see-through, so they're kind of see-through, but they have these beautiful leaves on them. And I thought, wow, that would make such a pretty little junk journal. So I'm going to show you how I did it. And hopefully by the time, we may have to do it in two parts, but hopefully by the time we get done, we'll have a completed junk journal. So, I have a placemat. This is the wrong side. I wanted the side that has these little stitch marks on the outside, just because I think they look really cool. And then I have a piece of lightweight muslin, also purchased at the thrift store, and I'm going to cover the inside with this. And this is my little spine, and I'm going to put the spine right here in the center of this book. Okay, so you can measure it and you can do all of that, and I measure and measure and measure like a crazy person, and it all still comes out crooked. So there we go. So, but if I put just a little dab of water and press it with my hands, it'll stay creased long enough for me to get that spine on there. See? Perfect little crease. Then we're going to take our spine, and our spine is 1.5 inches by 9.25 inches. And I'm going to put it just inside this this edging down here, and it'll fit just inside that edging at the top. Okay, so that's how it's going to be. And I'm going to use Fabrifix on this, so we'll get our Fabrifix out and put some generous glue on. And then we will tack it down on our little temporary line. Make sure that it's good and even. And then burnish it really, really good with my hands. Now you can also burnish it with your burnishing tool, bone folder, or whatever you have. And then you will be able to see it from the outside edge, but that's okay because we're going to line it anyway. So the next step we're going to do is take our glue, and we are going to, come on, go right down these edges just on the outside of the stitching, all the way around. And I want these glued pretty good, but it's not super, super crucial because we're going to sew it. Okay, so I went all the way around. Now I'm doing also on these cross lines, just a little bit of glue down there to hold it down. Going to go across this way and this way. I'm going to put a little bit on the back of the leaves. And a little bit more on here, on this side. And then I put just a little thin, very thin line in each corner of these little panels here. And that's really just to kind of help hold the lining down so that it doesn't wiggle around too much. But I don't want a lot because I don't want it to show through. Okay? And we're going to take our muslin, try to get as many of the strings off of it as we can. And then we're going to lay it right down on top of this, making sure that the muslin overlaps all of the seams. I want it to hang over on the seams a little bit, all the way around. I cut this a little big because I'm not very good at laying things down in wet glue. So, all right. And you can see. Now then, we're going to trim the edges all the way around. I'm going to use my pinking shears. You could use straight shears. You could kind of ravel it a little bit so it looks old. But I really like the look of the pinking shears. So here is our seam, our little, if you can see that little stitching right there on the edge. We're going to cut just to the outside of that with our pinking shears. Okay. And I'm sorry, this makes a lot of noise. I probably should have put something down on this mat. I can hold it up a little bit. That'll help keep it a little bit quieter. And then we cut all the way down to the end, making sure that your lining is lined up too. So you're cutting that as well. You're going to cut them at the same time. The first one of these I made, I did the edges of the placemat. And then I went back and did the lining and then did the pinking on that and tried to line that up. And that was a nightmare. And I thought, oh, good Lord, Pam. Surely there's a better way to do this. So I decided to do them both at once, and you only have to cut once. So that works pretty good. I apologize for my sniffles. I have really bad allergies this year. It's quite a bit drier and warmer in Colorado right now than it usually is at this time. And my allergies, I don't know what I'm allergic to, but whatever it is, it's definitely prolifically reproducing out there. Okay, then we'll go down this side. Plus, I made a trip to Texas last weekend, and we were down there for 4 days, and whatever was blooming down there, I think, interacted with what was blooming up here, and I just got a real allergy thing going on. So, I had my second granddaughter get married, and so, of course, we had to go down and see that. Beautiful, beautiful wedding, and had a great time. She was an absolutely beautiful bride. So, it was really nice. And here we are coming in on the home stretch. My pinking shears are brand new. And so they're still just a little bit stiff. So, okay. I keep this because you never know what you're going to need to use that for. And you have a nice little book. Now, I take these and kind of roll them in on the sides because I want the spine to be kind of rolly. I don't want it to be quite so squared off and everything. And then we're going to take it to the sewing machine and we're going to stitch around it. Now, since I'm new at this video thing, I have no clue how to pause my video and go to the sewing machine, and I'm sure y'all do not want to sit and watch me sew around this. So what I did is I went ahead and made one up to this point and stitched this one. So from here on, we'll use this one. Now I have a little stitch on my sewing machine, and I think these are little bows connected, but to me they look like dragonflies, and I love dragonflies. And so in the pink dragonfly world, they're going to be dragonflies. So we stitched all the way around here, all the way, and then I stitched 2 right next to the border and 1 right down the middle. Then when we get ready to put our holes in here, our eyelets, then we'll be able to put those right in between those. Okay, and I've already kind of rolled it a little bit and just kind of work it a little bit so it's a little smoother and kind of gives you that kind of folded in look, and it just turned out beautifully, I think. Okay, so we're ready to put our eyelets on, and what we're going to do is this little stitch is about halfway, this little panel where they're sewn together. So I'm going to put a little dot here. Now once again, you can measure this and do all that, but I'm going to put 1 eyelet here. I'm going to put 2 signatures in this book, so I need 2 sets of eyelets. And then I'm going to go approximately to right here, about 1 inch down. Let's see. Yeah, about 1 inch down. And we'll put our second hole. And we'll come down here and do our third hole. And that's about 1 inch. Well, that was not very smart, Pam. That's about 1 inch, maybe a little more up from the end. So that will give us 3 holes and our signatures to hold them in, and that should hold it pretty good. Let's see if I can erase this little pencil mark just a little bit so I don't get confused. And let me get my crocodile. And we'll get some eyelets. I'm not really big on brown and stuff, but this brown just kind of seems to fit this pretty well. So I'm going to use these sort of brushed, brassy, goldy, coppery looking ones. And we'll need 6. And we'll put them over here, and hopefully we'll be able to find them when we get ready. Use our crocodile here. And I use the big hole, and I'm going to make 1, and then we'll do the second one, the third one, the fourth one, turn it around, one and 6th one. So now we have all of our holes punched, and they're relatively straight. Take our crocodile, move it back down to the end. Put our little brad in here in our little hole, and slide it in here. And there's a little nub in there that meets in that hole, and then you'll hear it click, and then you can push. and you have your eyelet in. So let's go ahead and put the rest of these in. And I've already lost one. Of course. Yeah, there it is. It didn't run too far. Tried to escape. It didn't make it too far. Okay, come on, make your little creaky sound. There it went. And we'll do our next one. This goes pretty quick. Whoops. Put in our last two. I might need to kind of trim that just a little bit. The paper in the cardstock helps make it just a little bit thicker so you're not going through 2 layers of fabric. Sometimes fabric's kind of hard to make it work. We'll get these last 2 in. And we're going to do something kind of unique, or at least I hope we do something unique with this spine. I dabbled in beading for many years, and so I still have lots of beads left. Now, look at that. Isn't that pretty? So we're done with that. So our little nubbins away. And we have our nice journal on the inside ready to go with our signatures. Now, I think because I'm going to use beads, and I've got some all picked out here, and I'm going to, as I put my signatures in, I'm going to bead down here. So out on the outside of the journal cover, we'll have a little row of beads in between each one of these. So, come back for part 2. And we will get the signatures in, and we will bead, and we will be finished with our little book. So please join me. I hope you had fun. Please keep in mind when you go to thrift stores and stuff, there's all kinds of neat things that you can use. This was just a little placemat. So keep your eyes open for that stuff. And we'll see you here next time. Bye.